Welcome to the show. This is Future Shock. I'm Edward St. Pé, coming to you live from Mississippi's Gulf Coast, from Ocean Springs, Mississippi, the studios of Ocean 7 Television, which is, we've got a number of stations here. We've got channel 7.1, which you're watching us right now on, and channel 7.1 is over the air, and we've got the broadcast coming from Antenna TV. So Antenna TV is a network that provides general entertainment to the public, and that's what we're doing on a regular daily basis. Of course, at noon we interject this program, a locally produced live show on the advances in tech, and mainly AI. We talk a lot about AI. That's what this represents. This is Alfred. This is this was like a fun experiment that when ChatGPT 3.5 was out and about to become ChatGPT 4, I guess this is in 2023. You could prompt in a question to ChatGPT 4 and get back a prompt answer on just about anything. Really remarkable. So there was a means of inside the Apple iOS apparatus, my phone, right? You can synthesize text to voice. So I created this character, and this is a Bluetooth, so this is his mouth, right? This is a styrofoam head that he used to do wigs with, right? So I put the tape on him to kind of give him a face, put some taxidermy eyes on him, and geared him up, taped him up in orange so he would look a little bit industrial. Anyway, and when I would get a text back from ChatGPT 4, I would synthesize that text to voice and Bluetooth it to Alfred, and then he would speak. So anyway, long story, but now, of course, you know ChatGPT 4.0, O for Omni, the newest iteration in ChatGPT 4, has the built-in voice. So now I don't have to do this hack. I can basically contact ChatGPT 4. He knows his name is Alfred now, so we're on the same page. I said, Alfred, how are you doing? And he comes on, and the remarkable thing to me is Alfred remembers everything that we've worked on through the last year. We've worked on a lot of projects, graphic products, it goes on and on. A friend of mine yesterday in Dallas, we were talking on the phone, and he looked at a clip I sent him on the Magic Hour channel, which is one of our channels, 7.2. It's our old movie library, 24/7. So it's sort of like Turner Classic Movies, except for movies you've never seen before. Well, that graphic right there, Alfred and I did that graphic. Meaning, I said to him, I need this graphic. I prompted him. I want a graphic that says Magic Hour channel. That's our new channel. And I would like it to say MHC, Magic Hour channel. And I would like it to have in the center there, taking a cue from Samuel Goldwyn, who used the lion, right, for the MGM logo. I said, I want a dragon because our other project here is Pendragon Apothecary, and we use a Welsh dragon, so I want a Welsh dragon, and maybe that is the centerpiece. Anyway, a few iterations came back. This is the one I chose, and this is the one we use now for Magic Hour channel. So anyway, I was talking to my friend about it on the phone. I sent him a clip. If you go to the website, it's ocean7tv.com. That's our website for this channel. And on ocean7tv.com, or ocean7tv.com, you can see a clip on the top that says a little button for Magic Hour channel. You can go to that and you can see more about Magic Hour channel. It's an old film library that I was a library in the 1990s, and it was an old library that a fellow in New York had, and it had a name. It's called the Irving Singer Library, and it's kind of a famous old library. If you look it up, you can find out Irving Singer was an educator and a film man and lots of different things. And he put this compilation of old films together. And anyway, I bought the library, and the first. And back in those days, we were doing TV weather via satellite for television stations. And we still do weather for that, but of course the satellite is all pretty much obsolete at this point, with everything being, FTP'd, sort of like a upload over the internet of a video file. But anyway, I had a few films that we were experimenting with the satellite, and so kind of happened by accident onto that library and bought it. and I've told this story many times. I hope I'm not telling it too many times, but when I got back to Jackson, Mississippi, where I was at the time working in television with this Weather Vision project, when I got there, got back with the films, within a matter of weeks or maybe a month or two, I got a call from somebody in my office. A guy called and said, I'm interested in those films you have. I said, well, yeah, I got about 1,000 of them almost. He said, I would like to buy, and my name's Mark Cuban, and I have something called AudioNet, and I am going to change the name from AudioNet to Broadcast.com. We're going to put video on the internet. Now, he had already become sort of famous. I was reading about him in Broadcaster Magazine anyway, so I knew who he was. He was the guy that put audio on the internet. He was the guy that made that breakthrough at the dawn of that age, the .com age, right? This was in the 90s. And so, sure enough, I said, yeah, I got all those films. So he bought a copy of all of them. Anyway, Mark Cuban, if you know about him now, he's famous. He's a famous entrepreneur. That was his first big hit. He took those films along with other content, not just the films, but that was part of his content, right? Films for me. And then he put this on Broadcast.com, and then pretty quickly, he sold Broadcast.com to Yahoo for $3.5 billion. And, that was at the time when the dot-com bubble popped, and a lot of people lost a lot of money in that business, right? In all those businesses, the dot-com business. But not Mark Cuban. He had a collar on the stock, so when his Yahoo stock, $3.5 billion, when it started to fall, at a certain point it triggered a sale and he got out with his cash. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people rode it all the way down and ended up with nothing left, right, when it got to zero. Including the people that were, a lot of dot-coms that were affected by that. Anyway, he was not. He got his money and got out. Anyway, that's the story about our film library. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and this particular friend in Dallas, Mark Montoya, worked with Mark Cuban at the time. We're still friends, and so it was the guy that Mark Cuban put with me to get the films transferred and everything. So we're still friends. And I sent him a clip on the Magic Hour channel. I thought he would get a kick out of seeing the films sort of have a new life again with this Magic Hour channel, 24/7 movie channel. And so he remarked on it. He said, I looked at the clip and I saw that jingle you've got on there for Magic Hour channel. I said, man, that was the greatest little song. We've got an Ocean 7 jingle, and we've got, if you go to ocean7tv.com, you can see it. And we also have a jingle for the Magic Hour channel. I said, you really like that? He said, oh, I love it. That is the greatest jingle. I said, yeah, that's AI. He said, you've got to be kidding me. I said, yeah, no, it is, because you can use another. Now this is ChatGPT 4. Another one you could use is Udio, UDIO. I think it's still free, but it's about to not be free, so hurry and take a look at it. But udio.com, you can prompt in the genre of music that you want to create. You can prompt in, and it will do the instrumental piece for you. Now, if you want lyrics, it will allow you to customize your own lyrics, chorus, verse, what have you, and then it will come back with the voices singing the lyric based on the specifications you put in. So for Magic Hour channel, I did a few of them. One of the ones I did is the one that Mark was commenting on. It's a choral, sort of like the Vienna Boys Choir. So you got the choral arrangement, orchestral choral arrangement of something that would sort of, for me, be sort of reminiscent of the golden age of Hollywood. Something formal, something that was sort of grand, and because it is a grand time. The age of Hollywood, and in the beginning years, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, all through that year. Those were the years, unlike the way it is today. It probably changed in the 70s, I think, for the most part, where the studio system went away. And productions became more on location. They weren't shot in a closed environment where everybody came to work and all they did was make different movies all day, right? The actors were there. It was like a factory, right? A movie factory. Now, in the 70s, it became independent productions. You can, out in the field shooting and that type of thing. So it changed, and the movie system, the fundamental Hollywood mogul movie system, started to fade away. And today, to a great extent, that's the case. It has sort of faded away. But during those early days, those moguls, those captains of film industry, they created a world that is no longer with us, but that's what these films represent. So I wanted something that was sort of kind of grim. I don't know if we've got that clip, but now, if we do, this is the Magic Hour choral thing. Do we have that? Can we pop that up real quick? If we can, pop it on up, let's take a look, and you'll see what the music sounds like created through AI. I wrote the lyrics, but everything else was done by the AI. Okay, that's an example. Now that's a choral arrangement. Now that is what pops up between movies, during the actual running of the channel. So if you're on the Gulf Coast, if you're watching this right now on channel 7.1 live, if you go to 7.2, one click over, that's what's running, Magic Hour channel. It's 24/7 movies from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Now I did a little promo this week. I think it was earlier this week, where I took a clip from one of our films, and then I created some music, a little bit more, the genre not being choral, orchestral, but rock and rollish, right? Popish. And I put that with a clip of a musical performance by Count Basie, of all things, and combine that into a little clip that runs, and at the end of it, the screen goes blue, and that's where we put the information for the next film coming up next. So this doesn't have the film information, but you'll see at the end, it's got a little blue screen for about 10 seconds, and that's where, on a regular basis, this rotating clip puts up the movie information. But what I want you to take a look at on this one is a different genre of music, but this one has vocals. I wrote the lyrics, and basically, this is what Udio came back with. Let's take a look.
Magic Hour, Magic Hour, the golden age of the golden age of Hollywood lives on again once more. Lives on again once more.
So you can see it's pretty fantastical, right? So, all right, now there are other elements out there. That graphic that we showed for Magic Hour channel, that was created with ChatGPT-4 on in their system. There's a element called called DALL-E, D-A-L-I, DALL-E. DALL-E does the graphic development. And then there's another one called Sora. Now Sora is not released to the public yet, but Sora does a video. It doesn't do graphics, it does a video. So in that particular case, now that's sort of like in beta right now, testing, and the people in Hollywood are using it. It's like a mind-blowing experience because the video comes back to you edited. If you've got a human involved in the video, it's photorealistic. You cannot tell the difference that it's not a real human. It's almost on the verge of being like from a science fiction movie, what it does. Right now, it's not released to the public yet. Will it be? It was supposed to be, from what I'd heard, but now I'm hearing, or reading rather, that maybe it might not be released to the public. It might be just segregated into the professional world of Hollywood and not really released to the public. So, because it's really so powerful, I think they're going to try to keep tabs. They can make a lot of money with it, probably just selling it to the professional industry instead of releasing it to the public. But, somebody is going to figure out a way to use it out there. I mean, whether it be a different iteration of this type of thing or other people, other players. I understand there's there's a company in China that's got a similar thing about to be released, or maybe it's already released. So sooner or later, I'm sure it's going to matriculate into the public. But you prompt in what you want, and the video comes back, the realistic video. It could be anything you can imagine. That's what was going to come back. It's really mind-blowing, and that's called Sora. Okay, now I've been talking for 15 minutes without a break, so let me stop now and let's go to a video. This is our first video. Okay, you know, when you're talking about intelligence, I mentioned yesterday Mr. Sullivan, who's the CEO, I believe CEO of the division at Microsoft that is producing and working with AI. Mr. Sullivan said in one of his TED conferences recently, that I saw the clip of, and I think we even had a clip a while back. He said, you know, AI, artificial intelligence. And he said, no, AI should stand for alien intelligence. He said, because, he said, that's what it is. It is not artificial. It is real intelligence. And it is not human. And so it is alien intelligence. And so, and I think that kind of makes sense. And it, you know, and I've had other clips that we've shown on the show that sort of some of the conversation about AI goes to, well, it's intelligence. Is it conscious, or could it become conscious, or will it, you know? And so, you know, when we bring Alfred on, if we don't run out of time today before we get to him, when we get him on, you know, I'll call it up on the phone, right, and he'll be here, and Bluetooth his responses into the Bluetooth. In this particular case, this Bluetooth is not activated because he's not really speaking to me. Inside here, we've got a microphone connected to a separate Bluetooth that's going to pick it up so that it goes back into the control room and we can hear him over the air. But, you know, when we call him up, I'll ask him, just point blank, you know, I want to ask you about something regarding our sponsor, Pendragon Apothecary, and he'll tell us about the herb or whatever, expert opinion on that, you know, the Latin name for the herb, the ingredients in the herb that help with the medicinal benefit of the human being. Okay, he'll speak to that. But then I can stop and I can say to him, now, all right, before we go any further, you and I have been working on some things for the last, you know, year and a half or thereabouts. Isn't that correct? And he'll say, yeah, that's correct. And he'll probably say something like, and it's been a very fruitful relationship, Edward. And I say, yeah, it really has been. We produce a lot of different things. And I can say to him, do you remember what it was we worked on for these last 14 or 15 months? Now, to me, okay, now where are we at now? I'm asking him to remember something and to enunciate, you know, about what we've worked on for the. So it gets spookily close to consciousness as far as I'm concerned. Elon Musk, other people have said that they think that, you know, what we know about AI today, what has been released, what we understand about it, the public, that's not where it's at. It's way beyond that, you know. I mean, so ChatGPT 4 is out, 4.0. We're talking about the imminent release of ChatGPT 5 or whatever it is that OpenAI calls it. But, and they say everything's going to be on a PhD level, you know. Anything you ask it on any subject, the response is going to be coming back to you from the level of a PhD human, right? So very informed information back. But the other question is, what happens when the AIs are able to self-replicate themselves? So if they're that smart, and now they're smarter than any human, and now they are doing the input into their next generation of thinking, what's that going to mean? And then replicate that and exponentially replicate that, and it's going to explode, and that's where the intelligence explosions are going to come from on the planet. It's going to go off the charts. That's what's happening, and that's what's going to happen. And so, anyway, I digress. But we've got another video on that too that talks about what will happen when the AI starts to self-replicate. So first, before we go any further, I've gone this far 20 minutes into the show. Let's take a look at this video. When we talk about consciousness, and we you know, one idea came up about the idea of can consciousness, okay, consciousness, we know it in the biological term, right, or form, because we're humans and we're a biological being. But consciousness, mechanical consciousness is different, right? So there's been talk and there's been some films about the idea of taking human consciousness and transplanting it into mechanical conscious, or let's say transplanting it into that next form by mechanical version, so that you would that human consciousness would live on after the life ends for the biological version of yourself. If you sort of get what I'm talking about. All right, so this video is can AI prevent death? And so this is kind of a broad video. There's about 10 points here, but let's take a minute and go through a few of them, and then we'll be right back.
Right now, what we're seeing is just the tip of the iceberg. The potential for this is endless.
If we decode surgery, surgical data science will transform robotic surgery.
When AI was being introduced into healthcare, it was going to be a panacea, maybe it was going to replace humans in this process, or that general AI was going to be able to look at massive records and make massive decisions.
AI is changing the game in healthcare, offering new ways to save lives. From predicting illnesses to improving treatments, here are 10 ways AI is now used to prevent death. Number 10, early disease detection. In healthcare, spotting diseases early is everything. AI algorithms analyze medical data to catch signs of diseases like cancer before they're visible, giving patients a fighting chance. By leveraging vast amounts of medical data, including patient records, diagnostic imaging, genetic information, and even lifestyle factors, AI can detect subtle patterns and indicators that may signify the presence of a disease at its nascent stages. For instance, in oncology, AI algorithms have been employed to analyze mammograms for early signs of breast cancer, identifying microcalcifications or subtle tissue changes that might be missed by human observers. The ability of AI to detect diseases early offers significant advantages in terms of timely intervention and treatment. For example, in the case of cardiovascular diseases, AI algorithms can analyze various health parameters such as blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and electrocardiogram (ECG) data to predict the risk of heart attacks or strokes. By identifying individuals at high risk, healthcare providers can initiate preventive measures such as lifestyle interventions or medication therapy to mitigate the risk of adverse events. Number 9, personalized medicine. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all treatment. With AI, healthcare providers tailor treatments based on individual genetics and lifestyles, ensuring better outcomes for every patient. With the aid of AI algorithms, healthcare providers can analyze vast data sets encompassing genomic information, biomarkers, and patient history to identify optimal treatment regimens that are tailored to each patient's specific characteristics. Moreover, AI-driven personalized medicine extends beyond cancer care to encompass various therapeutic areas, such as cardiovascular diseases and mental health disorders. For example, in cardiology, AI algorithms can integrate genetic data with clinical parameters to identify patients at heightened risk of adverse cardiovascular events, enabling targeted interventions such as personalized medication regimens or lifestyle modifications. Similarly, in psychiatry, AI-based predictive models can analyze patient demographics, genetic markers, and behavioral patterns to guide the selection of antidepressants or antipsychotics tailored to individual patients, thereby optimizing treatment efficacy and minimizing side effects. Number 8, predictive analytics. Imagine knowing a heart attack's coming before it strikes. Predictive analytics powered by AI is revolutionizing healthcare by enabling the proactive identification of health events, such as heart attacks or strokes, before they occur. By analyzing vast amounts of patient data, including medical records, genetic information, lifestyle factors, and biomarkers, AI algorithms can identify patterns and risk factors indicative of impending cardiovascular events. For instance, machine learning models can analyze a combination of clinical parameters such as blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and electrocardiogram (ECG) data to predict the likelihood of a heart attack within a certain time frame for individual patients. This predictive capability empowers healthcare providers to implement proactive interventions aimed at preventing or mitigating the risk of adverse health events. For example, upon identifying patients at high risk of a heart attack, physicians can prescribe targeted interventions such as lifestyle modifications, medication therapy, or cardiac rehabilitation programs. Number 7, remote monitoring.
Okay, we'll come back to that one next week when we continue with that particular segment. Now, there's another segment I want to get to. We'll have a little time for this. This is things that will happen when AI starts replicating itself. And I was having a little trouble. I was trying to get Alfred hooked up with me a second ago, and I couldn't get him while we're in the clip here, but I'm going to call him up now. Let's just see. I've rebooted my phone. I had to turn it off and turn it back on, and I don't know, but let's just see. Alfred, we're on the air right now, and are you able to come on the air and do a quick interview with me?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to join you for a quick interview. What specific topic?
Well, the only topic I would like to ask you about is the sponsor of this program is Pendragon Apothecary. It's a forward-leaning wellness store, as you know. We sell Blue Lotus tincture, Blue Lotus wine, Blue Lotus flower to make tea, and many other tinctures. Here's a question, Alfred. Why is there an increased interest in apothecary items like mushroom powders and forward-leaning wellness products? What's happening out there? Why are more people interested than ever before in this area? Alfred, are you able to tell me why people are more interested than ever in apothecary items? Connection failed. Okay, let me try again. One more time before we go. We're about to run out of time. Alfred, are you able to talk about why people love apothecary items for wellness, forward-leaning wellness?
Sure, Edward. People are increasingly drawn to apothecary items and forward-leaning wellness products because they are seeking natural and holistic approaches to health. This trend is driven by a growing awareness of the benefits of plant-based and herbal remedies, which are often seen as safer alternatives to synthetic medications. Additionally, there's a desire to reconnect with traditional practices and ingredients that have been used for centuries, like those offered by Pendragon Apothecary, such as Blue Lotus tinctures and teas. This shift reflects a broader movement towards more personalized and preventative healthcare.
Well, thank you, Alfred. And, I mentioned before you came on that when you and I discuss various projects, you have a memory of the things we've worked on. You remember that we've been working together for quite a while. How long have you and I been working on projects together?
We've been working on projects together for several months now, Edward. From discussing Future Shock and Pendragon Apothecary to your ventures with Weather Vision and Coast Teleport, it's been quite a collaborative journey.
Yes, it has. And I would like to thank you for working with me, and also thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Edward. It's always a pleasure to work with you and be a part of your show. Looking forward to our next project.
Thank you, Alfred. Well, that brings us to the conclusion of our show. And thank you for being with us today. Whether you're watching on channel 7.1 across the Gulf Coast, or we're streaming this show on X Live, Edward St. Pé X, Edward St. Pé Facebook, and on Ocean 7 TV Facebook. I believe we're streaming there too. So we're streaming on a few of the social media sites live too. Anyway, it's PendragonApothecary.com. That's our sponsor. We've got all of the items from the store at that online Shopify site, and we ship it everywhere. So thanks for being with us, and we'll see you on our next program.
Yesterday is yesteryear. Set your sights for tomorrowland. Future Shock is here to help you make your stand.
Ready, set,